To create a hair strand, it's going to need a path and a curve. And once you do one, you can keep on duplicating them. You can see that these are just duplicates of one another and just shaped out a little differently. Let me get started by Shift A, going to curve, path, and that's that long part of the hair strand. Back to Shift A again, curve, circle. Go rotate this circle. Once you start rotating it a little bit, you could jump into your transforms and just type in the number. This way it's flush with the plane. So this circle plus this path equals the tube of hair. Selecting the path, under Object Data Properties, scroll on down to the Bevel section and use this object picker and select the circle, and instantly a tube is shaped right there. I'm going to cap off this tube right underneath Object. Click on Fill Caps, and that will fill the ends of the hair strands. Go rotate this to stand it up. So start rotating it and then finish off by typing in the numbers in the viewport right under Items. Let me move this aside. And I'm going to move this circle aside as well. Next, press the Tab key, and that exposes the editable vertices on this curve. I'm going to click on this top one here, and I'm going to just move it down, and this is the orientation. So this top one controls the side. I'm going to rotate my object back to object level, clicking on this. Let me rotate it so it faces outward towards the screen. And that means it's probably going to be 90, like that. Selecting the circle again, Tab key. I'm going to flatten the bottom of this. Looking at it in 3D, that's what's going on right now. I'm going to select this and shift select on this vertex. Press the S key to scale them a little closer. To reshape the tangents, I'm going to select this tangent and click on the bottom and just drag it inward like this, and I'll do the same for the other side. Undo. Let me just get to the bottom. There we go. If you want more points on here, kind of like these strands, select here, here, and here, these three vertices, and then right click and click Subdivide. And that inserts extra vertices in between. Now you can select this one and and scale them or move them. If you want a sharp point, I'm scaling them together, and then I can move them down. If you want some more points here, between here and here, and here and here, select those four vertices, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then right click, Subdivide. Click off, and then select this vertex, and you can move it up. And click this one and move it up to create this rounded element. If you think the gap is too much here, well, go back here and here. You can move those up. Make it a little softer. When you're done with this, you could go back to the object level and then perform a uniform scale to make this narrow. Selecting this object of hair strand, Shift D to duplicate it, X to drag along this axis. Now each one could be shaped individually. With this one selected, going to the edit mode, Selecting this bottom point, maybe I just want a long hair strand. If I want this to taper at the end, Alt S and scale it. Maybe it gets a little wider up here, Alt S. And then Alt S. To twist, that's Control T. You can do your twisting once the hair strand is placed on the model. If you feel like twisting ahead of time, Control T. To do next hair strand, you can keep on duplicating these, just like this one's based on this one, and this one, and this one. If you just want to start out with, I'm going to select this one, and I'm going to Shift D to move it over. X, so it's a duplicate. Let me reposition it down here. And I'll use this as the contour for my path. That way these hair strands be similar, yet I'm going to edit this to make it different. Curve, path. Selecting under bevel, which is right here. Object data properties, bevel. Object picker, picking this strand. Turning fill caps on. Now I'll rotate it this way. And I'll rotate it forward like this. And I'll fill in the rest of the numbers, 90, 90, and 0. 90, 90, and 0. Selecting this shape, let me just move it over. And now I could just edit this one. At least now I have the extra points that I can convert into a new hair strand by, let's say, selecting those vertices. Moving them down. I could take the two at the ends and use a scale tool. Scale them. I could pull this strand a little higher and pull this part up higher as well. So this strand got a little higher over there. And then finally, going back here, since this is the perfect example, Shift D, pressing X to drag it along the X-axis. I'll manipulate this one. Tab, selecting bottom, Alt S, Alt S again, and that's where I'll stop this. Tab. Create a palette of different hair strands and then apply them to the head.